Hey guys, how's it going? Paragon here. Today I want to give you guys my Blood Spirit Necromancer build. Some people are also calling this build the Spirit Wave build. It is effectively a new build in Season 6, the new expansion, and it is going to be the build that I plan to play next expansion. I might play a Spiritborn, but I'm going to wait to see how that works out because there's so much possible with the class. I'm going to see how it turns out and then possibly reroll, but possibly not. I really like Necromancer, and today I want to give you guys the absolute best of it. So, how does the build work? Give you guys a little bit of demo. So this is from the PTR. This is tier 100, which is the equivalent to tier 200 in current live, and the build was indeed performing pretty well. It was dealing billions of damage, even though my setup was far from optimal in this case. It's just a really, really strong build. Now, these skills are going to be a little bit different than what I have on Mobalytics, which is where you can find the build. Alright, all crit builds are on Mobalytics. You can find this one in the description below, as well as all my other builds. Okay, so this is the build. You basically use Blood Wave, and you pick up the blood orbs that you spawn from it with Blood Lance, using the Gore Quills, and then every 3 blood orbs you pick up, you get a Bone Spirit that's based on your current life percent. Now, none of this is new, but they did change how a lot of things worked, and they added a few new features, and most importantly, they made base health basically 0, and I'll go into why that is important. Now, before anything, I want to give you guys a little bit of a mechanical demonstration. So I am playing this build currently. This is after the PTR, but there's going to be another patch after this one on launch day. So there will be a few things that are different. I'll make sure to update the guide with that as I can. So I do have, actually, I got a 3 Blood Orb Bone Spirit Blood Artisan Curiass. The only downside to this build is that you need this item. You really need it with 3, and I will show you guys why. You might be able to get away with using a 4. Until you get that, you're going to have to play something else. I recommend minions, and I'll have a minion guide in a separate video. But again, if you want to just go for it, I do have that build on Mobalytics as well. Now, I do want to go over mechanics very importantly, because I feel that other content creators who have highlighted this build do not actually understand what is, what's making it snappy, what's making it work. All right. So a lot of content creators put the Blood Orb reduces ultimate thing. They put that on the amulet. One of the changes in Season 6 is that they made the Blood Wave from 3 Blood Orbs. Now it spawns 6. Okay, so it's pretty important to kind of go over how that actually works. Okay, so let's use a Blood Wave. So we can see it's there. Now it used to spawn 3, and now it spawns 6. But you can see that the 6th one was really far away over there. Now, this only looks like 6, but actually, where do I have the thing? So Blood Wave fires 2 additional waves, so each additional wave is also spawning another one, so it's not 6 blood orbs, it is 18 that we have there. Now, if we have 18 times 3.7 seconds, that's way more than the 37-second cooldown, so why is everyone putting this aspect on the amulet? The answer is, I don't think they've actually really looked into it. The other one is, it's more comfortable to play because you might not get these. Let me explain. So you see how much terrain is required to get the final one. So if I get those 3, I get a Bone Spirit, there's another Bone Spirit, so each one's a stack of 3, okay? And I can pick them up by using Blood Lance, and I don't actually have to target anything. If I just do that, it picks it up, fires the Bone Spirit. Look at that, it's pretty sweet, right? Okay. So why do you need that on Amulet? You don't need it on Amulet, but it helps you play more carelessly, I would say. Okay, so if I use if the boss is here and the wall is here, and I use Blood Wave, okay, if I use it there, I'm gonna get like no blood orbs. Okay, the actual Blood Wave, it doesn't really do that much damage. If I use it there, see, I get 1, but then there's no more over here. Okay, so I can get 1 spirit there, 1 spirit there, 1 spirit there. Maybe there's like another 1. Is there? No, there's not. See, it's not pulling anything from the wall. Now, there is an exception to this, because Blood Wave actually goes through walls. So if I do it there, it's going to do that. You can see it's going through the wall. So we have some blood orbs there, and we have some blood orbs here. And we can get those, and we can pick those up with... Oh, no, I guess we have to be in line of sight. Yeah, we have to be in line of sight. You can pick those up with the Blood Lance as well. Now, using Blood Lance is going to be much faster than walking over them, especially when you're stacking attack speed, which is something you're going to want to do on this type of character. But yes, the idea is that you don't have to put the Blood Orb cooldown reduction with your ultimate on your amulet as long as you are aware of your positioning with Blood Wave. And if you put on your amulet, you still have to be aware of the positioning of your Blood Wave. If you're like here and you Blood Wave the boss, this is not enough to recover the cooldown, even if you put it on an amulet, okay? So positioning the Blood Wave is super key to playing this build, and I don't think you'll actually hear this from other content creators, but this is the key to the build. This is really, really important, okay? Why is it doing so much damage? So you saw it's doing like 1,000,000 damage. If I take like Bone Spirit, hey, take a Bone Spirit. 8,000. What? 8,000? This thing's doing 1,000,000. How's it doing 1,000,000 or 8,000? Okay, that one didn't crit, so maybe it'll do like 30,000 or something. But it's still a massive difference. So it says that when you pick up a Blood Orb, free Bone Spirit, dealing bonus damage based on your current life percent. What does that mean? So this is doing damage based on your base life. This is why this build is good in Season 6. Because with the stat squish, one of the things they did is they made your base health go from about like 8,000 to 400. Okay? Now, they only halved the life rolls on gear. The life rolls on gear were like 1,200 or so, and now they're like that. They're like 700, okay? So you can actually get, if you stack life like crazy, which, by the way, is exactly what I do, you can get about 40,000 life, okay? 40,000 life is 100 times more than the 400 base life, so the Blood Artisan Curiass will actually multiply Bone Spirit's damage by 100. That's right. So in addition to the essence bonuses of casting Bone Spirit, because it's a bone skill, after that, you again multiply the damage by 100. Now, that's going to seem like it's the best build in the game. Honestly, it'll still do less damage than base Bone Spirit. And that's because the same mechanics buff overpower damage, and the normal Bone Spirit build uses overpower. So the base Bone Spirit build still actually gains a crap load. I think the base Bone Spirit build is going to do twice the damage of this build, but that build is so not fun to play and so slow that I do not recommend you play that build ever. Okay, and a big part of Season 6 is going to be speed clearing, so you can level your Paragon. 300 Paragons is a long way to go, trust me. So clearing fast is a really big part of it, and this build is going to have 40,000 life, making it completely invincible, because it's not just 40,000 life, it's 40,000 life, and we're going to do like 3 Blood Lances a second. That's going to heal us with 3 Blood Orbs, which is like 200, maybe 300% of our total life. So we're healing like 300% of our total life 3 times per second with 40,000 life. Okay, this build is completely invincible if you life stack it. This is also a really big difference. I've seen other content creators push this build and highlight it, and I've even seen one with like 6,000 life. And 6,000 life still has a really big multiplier with Blood Artisan Curiass, but I've done the math, and if you life stack instead of damage stack, you're going to do about the same damage in the end. But the difference is that if you play with 6,000 health, you're going to get one-shotted by pretty much everything when you're doing a Pit 100, and when you have 40,000 health, you're going to get... nothing is going to happen to your character, basically. You're going to be completely invincible. You can play like an absolute dick, just pull all the mobs, just watch them hit you, face tank everything. It's one of those rare cases where tankiness converts to damage, and it is wonderful to play that kind of stuff in ARPGs, which is why I highly recommend this build. Another aspect that is different from a lot of other content creators is I have blood attack speed instead of critical damage with bone skills on my offensive tempers. Now, I still have bone critical strike damage, and I do have a section under attack speed where I go over some of that, but I want to give you guys as part of this video because I'm able to give you guys a little bit more context for where it's coming from. So I did a little bit of math here. So Blood Lance, every skill in the game kind of operates on like frames per attack. So if you have, like, for example, if you have 139% attack speed and then you go to like 145, it actually does not increase your attack speed. You don't attack faster. You have to get to 16 frames per attack. This is a laborious process to get this information, but you know, other people have, and I made the best use of it. So this is basically the chart. The most amount of like attack speed that you can get is, I don't even know if 200 will work here. So probably your attack speed cap using this build is 176 attack speed. There is here, like, category 1 attack speed, which is attack speed on your gear, Paragon, and a few things. And there's category 2 attack speed, which is more temporary stuff. But the blood attack speed temper is actually category 2 attack speed, so it allows you to have that second 100% cap, which allows you to hit some of these values. Now, is it worth it to go to 13 frames per attack with Blood Lance? Well, I don't know if it is. You can see that the relative DPS increase is pretty good, but the amount that you need per attack speed goes down. So I highlighted in green. I think 136% total attack speed between category 1 and category 2 is kind of where you want to end up. And after that, it drops off a bit. I think 176 is probably a little bit too much. Now, I can't tell you guys that this piece of gear needs blood attack speed and this other piece of gear needs bone crit damage. I think until about you have 136, attack speed is going to be better than bone critical strike damage. But again, the other people that have pushed this build, none of them have blood attack speed. And I have redone this build like 20 times, if you're wondering. Okay. The other part that I want to go over is, how does life stacking work? How does it work? Actually, it's really simple, but most people don't understand how it works. So we have a base of 400 life, and then we have like 800 there, 700 there, 700 there, 700 there, and like 400 there. We add all that up to like a flat value. And then when we go to like Paragon, we have a lot of these nodes that are like 4% life, 2% life, 2% life. Now, if you've played every other ARPG, the way that this works is you add up all the percent lives together. Like, I think I have like 100% life, so like maybe we just double our base life. Is that correct? That is not correct. That is not how it works in Diablo 4. And again, we're playing a build where life percent is equal to damage multiplier. Every single individual instance of maximum life multiplies your existing health pool. So this is 4% more life, this is 2% more life, this is 2% more life. So it's times, 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 times. So if you have like 150% life on your Paragon, and then you get like another 4%, it's 4% times how much life you had. So life is insane. And some of the Paragon boards actually got really, really good here. Which one is it? Is the blood one? Yeah, the blood one has like 8 life there. It has like 4 life there. And I think it has another one, another 4 life there. So they actually buffed the life percents on Paragon considerably for Necromancer, which again, life percent is damage multiplier for this build, so that is no small deal. Also, the best weapon in the game is the Doombringer. If you get a greater affix on life and then you masterwork it 3 times, that will go almost to 100% life, and again, percent life, all of it is a multiplier, so that will double your damage. Now, with that said, if you use a regular item, you can get another aspect. You can use the sacrifice bonuses one. I did the math on that. That gives you about 30% damage multiplier, but you can also get the Bone Spirit chance to deal double damage, which gives you another like 30% multiplier, so that's pretty nice. You know, with those 2 things and the flat life on the weapon, actually the Doombringer does about the same damage as just the legendary weapon that's particularly well rolled. So why do we use Doombringer? Well, it doubles your life. You get the damage reduction, and you get the proc that's more damage reduction. I think if you don't use Doombringer, you will still be walking among mortals. But if you're playing this build and you do use Doombringer, you bring up your health to 40,000, you're going to have a character that's effectively invincible at all times. Okay, let's talk about sacrifice bonuses. There's some pretty good ones, but again, a lot of people don't factor in a lot of the stuff. So we have the 20 crit damage, the 35 crit damage. So that's pretty good, but let's say you don't have a crazy character. Let's say you're just kind of doing, you're kind of going through the mid-levels, you got the chest, but your character still kind of sucks, you don't have that much health, and you're starting to die. Well, you can go blood sacrifice. So 20 life is 20% more survivability, but it's also 20% more damage. This is 35% more damage, right? But if you need survivability, this is also giving you damage. So it's actually a pretty good option. For mages, you always do the Vuln, but for skeleton warriors, you also have 2 options. It's really hard to get resists right now, so if you use this one with resists with the passives that multiply it, you can actually get almost all of the resistances that you need just from this alone. 10 crit chance is actually not that much. And I also recommend that you use Grasping Veins on your amulet. If you do use Grasping Veins on your amulet, you will not need any critical chance on your character. So this might be a little bit annoying because your damage is going to be much lower if you don't Corpse Tendrils, but you kind of want to Corpse Tendrils a lot because Bone Spirit doesn't have that big of an area coverage, even though you're spawning lots of them. So if you want to rely less on Grasping Veins, you can put Grasping Veins on a ring instead of Serration, or you can put Grasping Veins in the trash bin, put Serration on your amulet, and use Ring of Starless Skies. It's about as good as a legendary ring. I didn't include it because it's not like better. It's as good, in my opinion. So Ring of Starless Skies is pretty good. But you can rely a lot less on Grasping Veins, so you don't have to use the Corpse Tendrils as frequently. How do we get corpses? Well, this is where it gets pretty fun. We get corpses with 1 point in Hewed Flesh, 4% chance on the lucky hit to create a corpse. The thing is, you're spawning like dozens of Bone Spirits, the triple blood waves from the ultimate. The lucky hit values on this build are completely cracked. The Air of Perdition has a massive amount of lucky hit already, so a 4% chance to create a corpse. I've played this build a lot. You basically just create corpses all the time. All of your lucky hits are proccing like crazy, and that's really good news because that includes the lucky hit chance to get a barrier from Necrotic Fortitude, which also means that you have like 100% barrier of your up to 40,000 life, which is helping you get even more invincible. So that's pretty sweet. There are a number of new passives, but it's nothing like super game breaking. The really big change comes from Blood Wave. Now, Bone Spirit, it's still the base skill that's being cast, and the base skill is a bone skill. So yeah, we use Ossified Essence, we get all the bone stuff, it's still physical damage, it still works the way it does. Another thing that I want to go over real quick is the Bone Spirit Explosion size. Now, some people have used this temper on the amulet. I don't recommend that you use it on the amulet, but you can if you want. I have also kind of looked into this. Size increases in Diablo. It doesn't increase the radius, it increases the area. Okay? So what does that mean? Okay, like you see this curse aura. Let's just say this is the base bone spirit size. It's actually a little bit smaller. So if I had 100% bone spirit size, it won't be twice as wide. It'll be double the area, but double the area will make it about 30% wider. Okay, so it'll be like that. So is that worth 2 tempers? Honestly, I don't think so. I like to use double corpse tendrils size and 1 bone spirit size. If you're pulling things in with corpse tendrils, it's going to be pretty good in general. Another thing here, so I am using blighted corpse tendrils to get some extra blood orbs. We don't need the extra blood orbs, but if you're just playing through like a normal kind of pit, it basically makes it so you corpse tendrils and you just run through the mobs and they all die because it spawns the blood orbs. You don't even have to use the ults. So it's just kind of easier to play. And again, fun play style, fast clear is actually a really big part of the game next season. Another thing, the Petrify glyph in this version of the game doesn't increase crit multi, so all classes lose that damage. The Warcry still works, but 20% life, that's a damage multiplier. So it turns out that this particular build still has a massive multiplier benefit from the rune system, and it's a rare rune. It's not even a legendary rune, right? It's not even an epic. It's just like easy peasy, right? So that's really good. This is going to be a character that's really fun. Once you get the chest, the character is online already. It's going to have extremely high ceiling. I think the only build for Necromancer that's going to be better than this one for damage is pure Bone Spirit, but you're talking about a build that's going to have double the damage, but like 3% of the survivability. So the playability is it's not going to be comparable. This is almost certainly the best build in the game for Necromancer next season, and is possibly one of the only builds that will compete with the greatest of Spiritborn builds when that is released. Again, if you guys want the written version of the build, make sure to check out the link on Mobalytics. I will be updating this one constantly because this is the build that I'm playing. I hope this video has been useful, and if you're curious how to level this character, tune into the next one. Till then, take care.